Hello and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I am Leonard Maganza, the Chief Customer Officer at Syniti, and we are partnering with CDO Magazine and the International Society of Chief Data Officers in a series of interviews. And today I have the pleasure of talking with Purvi Shah, the VP of Enterprise Big Data Platforms at American Express. Purvi, thank you for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me, Leonard. It's a pleasure.
First of all, I feel like we're living in, even though we both play in the data space, which is why we're here, I feel like we're in alternate universes. We were talking just before we got on camera about where we are today. You're up in the Northeast in New Jersey. I'm down here in Texas. I'm 38 years New York City before I moved to the last 17 in Texas. I know you were in UT for a while. I don't know where you grew up, University of Texas, for those who don't know who are listening, but I know now you're up in the Northeast. So we kind of cross paths, along the way. But anyway, with that said,
my grad.
Yeah, I got a couple of, get to know you questions. I think before we deep dive, I think it'll give some credibility to who you are, and as you answer the questions, then people will have some more context, right? So, kind of in layman's terms, what is your role, at American Express today?
I have been at Amex for about 10 years now, and I actually currently lead the Enterprise Data Platforms team. And what that really means is I'm responsible for our data ecosystem globally at American Express. And we are in the mission of bringing the data together across multiple different systems at American Express, unifying the information so that it can be used and leveraged as an asset when we think about analytics, insights, powering the best customer experience across the board. So that is my current role right now. And before this, most notably, I also served as the president of Customer 360, which is an enterprise asset now and a CRM for American Express that allows American Express to understand who their customers are and what relationships that they had. And this is a very important part of American Express in terms of how we understand the customer across the life cycle and different functions, all the way from acquisitions to how we service them, how we detect credit and fraud risk against the customer across the board.
So I know you have a patent, but you haven't trademarked that yet, have you? Because if not, I'd like to use it, the mission to decommission. So I want to segue into kind of the next piece of this. So as you've been talking about the data and the use across the ecosystem and the use by analytics tool and even analysts, a little bit inward focused, and that's good. Often we start there. But I want to transition to talking a little bit about customer experience and digital experience and how you've integrated the work that you've done into improving that for American Express as well.
Yeah, I would say in my mind, data management, digital transformation are all intertwined to create greatest customer experience for our customers, right? So we see all of those combined and as symbiotic to each other. And what that really means is, if I use an example of one of the products that we have, Amex Offers. So Amex Offers, provides merchants the opportunity to give discounts or incentives to have customers, American Express customers, shop at their location. And within that, we use a lot of AI, machine learning, along with the data that we have, to understand what is the customer's needs and what is the customer behaviors, what are their affinities, so that we can serve up the right offer to them at the right time. And that really is very important, because that is going to make you as a customer come back to the Amex app or the Amex website, log in to see what are the information that is available, and make that customer experience really delightful, right? You're going to see something, if you really love high-end shopping, you'll be able to see offers that are most relevant and personalized to you. And, we have all had the experiences where we get, offers from other companies and marketing that are not really relevant. And that creates a really poor experience, right? And how the customer engages with you. So for us, this is really important to manage the data well, understand the data, and bring it together with how the customer's needs are and anticipating them using the AI ML technology to move that forward.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we talked a little bit about, unpacking this. I want to do this further. I loved one of the titles in one of the patents that you just referred to that said, when it talked about, merging data from, disparate systems, it used the word systems and methodologies, right? And I want to pick at the methodology side for a minute and the product side in this idea that, big data science and data lakes became the hot buzzwords. And then they quickly, over time, it's like giving a kid a gun. All right, we ended up with data swamps, and you've heard of all those things, right?
But, data mesh, data fabric. Yeah, I hear all of them.
but using your crystal ball, if you're like, what's the next generation of this, right? So you gave great examples of using it to get insights, right, into your customer base, right? Using it to improve the customer and digital experience. Where do you think this can go? Maybe it's in terms of being predictive about buying behavior, et cetera. But what do you think the future holds?
Yeah, I really wish I did have a crystal ball. But for me, as we look to the future, it's really important to listen to the customer. We constantly and consistently do that. B, understand the data. So how do they interact with us through a variety of channels that American Express provides to offer the best services. And C, actually have a conversation with our customers to understand what their needs are and how do we need to continue to evolve so that we can continue to offer them the services and the products and the best experience that they aspire to have from American Express and expect to have from American Express. I would say the two things that really stand out for us, and as we look at the future, one is further leveraging our AI and ML capabilities. So it's not only about using, structured data that we have really tapped into, along with the unstructured that we're also tapping into, but really bringing that together so that we can predict, for example, Leonard, you're traveling from Texas to New York and you have a disruption in your flight. Could we detect that and also call you and say, hey, Mr. Leonard, we understand this is what has happened. Can we offer you alternatives? How great would that be? And how delighted would you be if we offered something like that, right? So those are the types of things that we're looking at, which is anticipating the customer needs, using the data as well as machine learning models to advance this field further. And then I would say the second one for us that is really big is just customer centric. So as you can imagine, American Express with its rich history and the number of products that we have. So, very well known is we have a lot of card products, but we're also have a lot of non-card products for our customers. And how do we make sure that the information that you get on, let's say, Amex mobile app or Amex website is very intuitive and is, meeting the needs of the customer. So really moving away from product-centric interactions to more customer-centric interactions. And data is going to be at the heart of everything that we do in that front.
First of all, thank you for your candor, and thank you for joining me today. And thank you, guests, for listening. And please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews.